All right, welcome friends and family to the Local Acts Only podcast. This is going to be the first episode. We're recording this after the intro. We're just all so cool that we want to talk some more. I'm here with Joe Esposito of the band.
I'm starting a new band and we don't have a name yet. I just left my most recent band.
Okay, very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Esposito of New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm just a traveling knight of the low frequency. That's all.
Joe, what do you play?
I'm a bassist and a kind of a drummer. A sad excuse of a drummer.
I was hoping he was going to say bitches.
Oh my God.
Justin?
Also here with Quintana of Years Revival.
Justin Quintana of this year's comeback coming at you.
Oh, dude, I'm bad, man.
Did you actually?
Yeah,
I thought you were making a
suck,
joke.
dude.
You
No.
said it was like revival or.
I don't know why I thought it was Revival.
Of Creedence Clearwater Revival.
And lastly, we have a dear friend, Eric, the Wizard Fitamant of Skinny Dickies
Lick my
and
clit.
Space Station Records. We can bleep that out. It's okay.
What's that famous song that Creedence Clearwater does? What's
All of them?
Inagata
all of
Devita.
them?
Rolling
after
on
me.
River. No,
Why did I
that's
think it was
not
after
Creedence
midnight?
Clearwater.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
That's CCR.
There's just
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I heard one of their songs in a bad video game.
There's also
Bad Moon Rising.
Bad Moon
Yeah, that's it,
Rising,
yeah.
Yeah.
Born on a Bayou.
Yeah, I heard Bad Moon Rising in like Mafia 3.
I
That
think
game
it's
sucked.
oh, you know what it is? That song, something Sun.
Black
House
Hole
of the Rising
Sun.
Sun.
No.
House of the Rising Sun.
No. Fortunate Son.
Fortunate Son.
Fortunate
That's
Son.
Black
it.
Ops when they're in.
It's in every
Oh.
Vietnam movie and video
Every
game ever
Vietnam-
made.
Oh, that one.
It ain't me.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't me.
How can I tell if I'm too close to the mic?
I know Senator Son. That's it. That's all I got. So, anyways,
And to get us off of that tangent,
Yeah.
to start off, let's talk about music because that's what we're all here for, right? That's what
Yeah.
brought us together. Let's start over here with Joe. What got you started? Where bands that got you inspired to make music? Like, what do you do? When did you start? How long have you been playing?
Well, when I was
What's your
like,
story.
I don't know, fucking 5 or 6, I like asked for a guitar for Christmas, and I got like a shitty what was that? It was like Maisto. I don't think
Maestro?
it's Maestro. Is that it?
I think I know.
No,
the
I don't
name.
remember there being an R. I remember looking at the brand name and I was like, that sounds clunky. It was like Maisto or like it was like Maest or it was like stupid. But I like played it for like 6 months because I was young and stupid and I wasn't dedicated to things. And then like when I got forced into like Catholic school, I went to playing acoustic guitar in the band for like 6 months because hated like the music they were doing. Also, looking back on it now, like from what I know from music, I swear my teacher at the time was teaching me like how to read music incorrectly on purpose because he just wanted me to like play the right chords. He was like, "Wait, when you see this little thing, like it means the whole chord," and I'm like, I know that's not true. I think he was just lying to me. But then I didn't play for a really long time until I moved to Jersey. I'm from Staten Island originally, so and then I moved to Jersey.
No accent.
That was what's up?
No accent.
Oh yeah, because I've been here for a while, but
Yeah.
like if I go to like Staten Island for like a holiday, like I'll have like an accent will rear its little head
Yeah.
for like a couple of days.
Start talking like everyone else.
Yeah. So I guess around my freshman year of high school is when I first started like actually playing music. I met like my best friend Rob, and he like wanted to like start a band with some guys we knew, and I was like, oh, I used to play guitar, and I like remembered some of the chords. He was like, all right, like play me something that you know, and or like what you know, and I played guitar for him for like 30 seconds. He was like, stop, and he like went over and grabbed his bass, and he was like, here, take this, because that was that bad. But my older brother started playing bass maybe I think a couple of months, almost a year like before that, and he turned me on to like all the cool basses, but like all the entry level ones, like Flea, Les Claypool, and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, bass is sick. And then I kind of just rolled from there. And then like through high school, I took music theory class, I took songwriting and recording. but I guess when I started taking it super super seriously was like I graduated high school June of 2017. I think in like November of 2017, I got a call from my buddy Noah, who like had a band going, and he needed a bassist. So I learned some songs they wrote, and then like the side of music that I didn't see before was the fact that outside of a school or outside of a controlled environment, a ton of dudes can just get together, go in someone's bedroom, and like with some bullshit gear they got from any store or online, and like record something, and then we can market ourselves and go play shows, and all that cool stuff happened. I was like, all right, cool, like I can just kind of do this.
We're gonna have to censor that.
The cock and balls. We can put that.
Yeah, we can put cock and balls in there. But yeah, no, that's pretty. And then like the rest is pretty much history from there. Like ever since then, I just kind of like started like snowballing into indie music.
So the one thing I think that you didn't really mention was any music that you were really into when you first started.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where did you draw inspiration from?
Oh, okay, yeah. So like,
I know you mentioned Flea.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Red Hot Chili Peppers fan too.
dude, Chili
Flea's
Peppers
like
is
my
the
hero.
best. I love that dude so much. Yeah. In the beginning, definitely dudes like Flea and Claypool, for bassists, I so to speak. But then I found out about like Queens of the Stone Age, and then I'm wearing a Queens of the Stone Age shirt that I got when I saw them live at Madison Square Garden with Royal Blood.
3s and 7s used to be like my shit. That's Queens of the Stone Age, right?
That is.
Yeah. I used to play that on Guitar Hero, I think. And then I just
Is that song on Guitar Hero?
Yeah, that was like one of the like 20 songs I had on my iPod in 5th grade, and I would listen to it like 8 times a day.
Facts. Yeah, and then after a while, I started discovering funk and jazz. Like I discovered Bootsy Collins. I discovered Jocko. That was it. When I discovered Jocko, I like everything.
Jocko
Like,
is
He has a
incredible,
son
dude.
too, right? That's
Felix Pastorius.
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram. He's filthy,
He is amazing.
incredible.
Him and like Marcus Miller, Victor Wooten. Like when I discovered those guys, that's when I
Mhm.
really went down the rabbit hole.
I know a few of them I watched something on Flea, and like he drew a lot of inspiration from a few of those guys, like Bootsy. Put me on the spot right there. Put myself on
Yeah.
the spot right there.
But then and then I started, I guess, really as the years went on, I just slowly expanded into having appreciation for every genre of music.
Yeah.
And then I would hear like the way other instruments would play, and I would try to copy that on bass, because I heard that Jocko would love to listen to trumpet players more than bassists, and he would like take inspiration from trumpet players to play bass.
Mhm.
So and that's how I fell in love with the saxophone, and I started doing stuff like that, and that's pretty much it.
I think that's something really cool about music that like people who don't play aren't really like aware of, is how like easy it is to transpose something from another instrument to a different instrument. Like hearing like someone playing saxophone, and then you can play those same notes and chords like on a piano, and like have the same song but with a completely different sound. It's like something about music that I think is really incredible.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. I do this. I like to try to do the same thing with country, but country vocal melodies are actually kind of catchy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I feel weird about saying that. There's nothing wrong with country. I just feel
Country
like
gets shit on
I
a
second
lot.
that.
yeah, right.
Nothing
Like,
wrong with country, man.
There's nothing
I'm
wrong
a little
with
bit
country,
country.
You know, I used to say I listen to all music, but fuck country, and I can't listen to metal. But the more I listen to music and stuff, it's like I'm like, oh, I just didn't understand it at that point. Like I think that's a really big thing with music, is especially if you haven't seen something live, you haven't seen someone like make it or like do it in front of you, like it's really hard to understand. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I recently went to festival last year, Lost Lands, and like I'd never listened to dubstep really, like, or gotten into it. And so all my friends were like, dude, it's gonna be too hard for you, like you're not gonna like it, like whatever. And I got there and I was like, oh my God, like I didn't get it until like I saw it live. And I feel like it's like that with so many things.
yeah, definitely.
Let's throw it over to you, Justin. Where'd you start?
All right,
What are
well,
your origins?
first I want to do a quick tangent because this particular episode is going to be non-visual, no video accompaniment. So Eric walked in with a little guitar, dude, and he's like loving it, dude.
I was looking at you.
So
like,
I gotta
cranky with
know,
it.
Eric, what are you gonna play for us on that little guitar, dude?
You just want me to go now instead?
Yeah. Well, no, I want you to do. You're dying to play this little guitar, dude.
No,
Do it.
This is part of my story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's throw it to
Oh.
Eric.
All
All right, let's throw it to Eric.
It's a relic.
Eric, where did you start? What's your origin story here with
My
music?
origin story begins with this: a no-name, 1/4, 3/4, 2/4 scale guitar, probably bought from. Oh my god, what was that? Skylark brand. What was that magazine you'd always buy everything from? It had literally everything.
Hustler?
No, not Hustler.
Playboy?
Not Playboy.
Ears?
Not Sears.
Dildos Are Us?
This Sears comeback?
Sears comeback. Yeah.
This year's comeback.
Sears comeback.
Maybe, I don't know. My mom ordered it off some magazine.
Oh, isn't
whatever.
it like Oriental something?
Oriental Trading?
Yeah, Oriental Trading.
That's
that was it. Yeah,
Yes.
dude.
So
you get all the
my
plastic
mu-
flamingos.
Yeah, my
Can
musical
you,
career started on this.
Can you say that? Can you still say Oriental?
Oriental Trading?
Really? We can cut that out. No,
It's
me drawing attention to it. We can cut that out.
Are they even still together? Is it like a thing that exists?
Yeah, dude, this is my first guitar, and I was, I think, 3 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, dude,
Three?
I had no idea how to play it. I would play it with it like on my lap, like this, just like
As if it was like some kind
Slide,
of lap
bro.
steel.
Nah, yeah, like it was a
Get
lap
like a slide
steel or
ring.
something, you know. Speaking of country, but I really got into music, I guess, at a very early age. My father would always play like, pops, dude. He would always play like Creedence Clearwater Revival, Jimi Hendrix CDs and stuff. He'd always drive around in our old Toyota T100 and always tag me. I was always tag along, and we'd listen to CDs. He'd show me music, and then it wasn't until like probably like 5th or 6th grade when I really got into playing guitar, and been in band at that point, like school band in fourth grade, playing like percussion and stuff, and I was starting to learn how to play the drum set too at the same time. Getting into electric guitar, and a big band at the time that I would listen to. My favorite band, Justin's gonna laugh at me because he already knows what it is, but Green Day was super big for me, dude.
Man.
Super big.
Like a
Billy
rite of
Joe was
passage.
like, dude, for me it was like God, dude. You know how like back in the 60s or 70s, Clapton is God, was all over England. In my mind, dude, Green Day is God.
Mm-hmm.
I
Back
never went
then.
through that. Never went through a Green Day.
No, dude, you're missing out.
Blasphemy.
I'm going through one right now.
Are you really?
A little bit.
Really? Interesting. Ooh. We'll talk after the podcast.
Green Day
Anyways,
revival.
That's code for he's gonna suck my wiener for like in Green Day after the podcast.
cock and balls.
Little cock and ball torture.
No, but
Shove
dude,
'em in the drawer.
I learned like all their songs and stuff, and like, it kind of like inspired me to like through them. I learned of bands like, you know, I hated Blink when I was a kid because I couldn't stand Tom DeLonge's voice, but
Same, dude. I was the
loved
exact
it.
same way.
dude, I couldn't stand his voice.
Yeah.
Now I like it, but I discovered bands like Blink. I discovered bands like The Offspring, and then like I was a big punk kid, I guess if you could call that punk. You know, and then I guess as I got older, I started just like maturing musically. I learned like you were saying before, Joe, jazz and stuff, and like more out of the rock realm, you know.
Right.
And that was I guess now, and then bringing me to, I guess, high school, you know, that was like it for me, dude. I joined band class. I was in band class every day. I played bass in the jazz band senior year. Hung out every day in the sound booth. It was great, you know, surrounded by music every day. It was a good time. So, and then college, I went to school for music or whatever, audio recording, but you know, and no, I just learned a lot on the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Skinny Dickies, Eric.
Skinny Dickies.
You didn't
Skinny
mention
Dickies
them at all. Where did they come from?
Where did Skinny Dickies come from, dude? Skinny Dickies came from my freaking pants. Actually, not my pants, Andrew's pants. But no, they were from Tom's River, a little local surf rock punk psychedelic outfit. I don't even know what you
I don't
call
know
it.
what
We're just a band, man.
Uniquely
Playing rock and
yourselves.
roll.
You just like a jam band? Like
Not a jam band, but like we're a band.
We're a band, dude.
But yeah, we're and we have 3 songs out right now
All right.
on Spotify.
most recent was
Most recently,
Opiates
Derailed.
Associated?
Actually,
Derailed.
Actually, Jack,
Oh.
it's Derailed.
I'm a shitty Skinny Dickies fan. What can I say?
Man.
Can't believe you.
I'm a
dude.
bad friend too.
But
Shame
that
on
is
me.
for the most of it. That's my story. Unless you have any other questions for me.
How did you? So, the lead singer is Andrew.
Actually, we co-sing.
co-sing.
Okay.
Okay.
I co-front the band.
Yeah, don't get it twisted.
Okay.
Don't
All
get
right.
it
Don't get it
twisted.
twisted. I thought you were. I've only seen
I'll fight
you
you. We're good.
a
Don't worry.
handful of
Okay,
times.
that's what I'm saying.
So what about our friend Danny, the fantastic
So then
drummer?
there's me, myself, Eric Fitamant. I play guitar in Skinny Dickies. There's Andrew Pollinger, my main man. He also plays guitar and sings. And then there's our good boy Danny Niederhauser, Land of the Houses.
So Danny's not from the same high school as you guys,
Danny's
right? How
not.
did you
We
guys hook
actually
up
met
with him?
Danny maybe about 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
I'd known Andrew since junior year of high school, I guess 2016.
Mm-hmm.
No, 2012. 2012. End of
Good gap.
2012. I'm confusing years. Anyways, I've known him a long time. But Danny, we met him through a mutual friend. We jammed with him and our one friend Rob. We all know Rob.
Yeah.
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 Good old Rob from
Um,
the place we don't talk about.
Good old classic Rob from Cock and Balls, dude.
Place that must not be named.
Cock and Balls.
Voldemort.
We should just refer to it as Cock and Balls from here on.
Fair enough.
Oh,
All
all
right.
right, cool.
All right. So,
Okay.
and then Danny, met him through a mutual friend. He's a fantastic drummer. He was in a couple other bands like Float Your Brain. I think he was in. They're not together anymore, but And then we recently our old bass player Sarah. She's in Idlewave, I think it's called. She's incredibly talented. She's also from Tom's River, local fit, but she just recently, we took separate ways. She's doing her own thing. I'm super proud of her though. She's doing great work. She's
Great girl.
managing bands, kicking ass, slapping the bass. So right now, Skinny Dickies is looking for a bass player. So anybody wants,
There's your ad.
there's your ad.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man.
And we might need an intermission because I think Justin just shit his pants. And on that note, Justin, what are your origins?
All right. Well, basically, my introduction into music comes from my parents. They liked a lot of country music and whatnot. But so that started my interest in music, really. But I got into playing very young, and it's interesting. I don't know how it really happened. I think I share a story with like a lot of people how like, oh, there was just a guitar in the house, because that's something that happens for some reason. There's always just a guitar because someone in the family wanted to take it up, or maybe, and it just nothing ever.
My dad played too.
Yeah, it's like nothing ever came of it. I assume probably my mom or someone wanted to pick up the pastime, and I don't know how it happened. I guess I just took an intrigue in it, and I remember my mom walking in on me one time, and I'm sitting there, and she had this there's this famous flamenco player, I think it's flamenco style, called Esteban or something like
flamenco,
that, and he had his own line of guitars or something like that. So I remember getting interesting and looking in the bag and whatnot, and I'm sitting there like a little dipshit, just like fucking slamming on the slamming on the strings and whatnot, trying to be like, how does this work? And she came in and saw that I was taking an intrigue, and nothing happened for a little while, but a little indie, not that well-known game came out called Guitar Hero, and I guess somehow I managed to convince my parents that would like teach me guitar. Maybe I thought that it would teach me guitar. So
I think we all gave ourselves that excuse.
That's why all 4 of us know how to play Through the Fire and the Flames perfectly.
Oh yeah.
listen,
I'm like extra expert.
Behind my back.
Oh no, can you
Funny
actually
you
do
say
it?
that. I can't. Our good friend can.
Justin, can you?
Not Justin.
Oh.
Our good friend. Me and Justin's
Oh.
good friend.
yeah, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick.
You're really good at Guitar Hero.
Nick.
He has
Give him a
no, my
shout.
buddy Nick. He actually has the like the nationwide, maybe worldwide high score for Through the Fire and the Flames on Expert
Oh my god.
Pro
Wow.
Guitar, I think it's called, because there's a button. There's a special peripheral for Rock Band, I think it is, and it's like it's a controller, but every single it's a MIDI controller, and every single spot on the neck is an actual coincides with a true guitar, and I think he has the high score for that, like either
Wow.
worldwide or nationwide or something like that. But anyhow, so I play Guitar Hero, and honestly, it's so interesting how our generation, I feel like a lot of us were influenced a lot by that game because
Yeah.
it was it was such a unique idea that came out, around that time, and it was so cool of the developers to create such an eclectic grouping of music. You know what I mean? It's like I think I started
No.
I started with Guitar Hero too, so it's a very like rock and roll kind of like very rock oriented set list.
Yeah.
But there was still quite a few other how do I put it? Like a lot of other genres too.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of shaped how I look at music too. It's like I feel that I have like a very like eclectic taste in music. I could find something about any genre that I like and can gravitate towards. So after playing Guitar Hero for a little bit and realizing that that's just pushing buttons, my parents ended up buying me lessons at a place that's now defunct called Tom's River Music. And rest in peace.
How old were you at this point?
I must have been about like 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And the teacher I had, I'm not going to drop his name. Or wait, should I? And he can come on. Yeah,
Go for
He's
it.
got to be like old.
Bring him on the podcast.
What's his name?
He was this. I can't. Anyway, he didn't teach me
Can we get
shit.
a first name?
Maybe because
He who shall not
his
be
name.
named.
We'll just call him Bungus because his name
Bungus.
starts with a B. We'll call him Bungus.
All right, cool.
And he was this fella who was in a Grateful Dead cover band, and he could play. The motherfucker could play. But maybe it's because I have like funny brain or something, and I'm just not that receptive to like learning new things that quickly. I feel like he didn't want to teach me or maybe it was my fault. I don't remember. I was mad young. But he didn't teach me notation. It was just like, hey, here's some power chords. You could play along to the song and like learn nothing.
Yeah.
So I did that for maybe a year and a half, and it was just like, okay, that's enough. And but the thing is, I had such an interest in it that I just kept going with it. Online lessons and anything you could find on YouTube. I just kept learning stuff by ear and whatnot.
Marty Schwartz, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who Marty Schwartz was.
That sounds really familiar.
Who's
Marty
Schwartz?
Schwartz. He was like the YouTube guitar lesson god back
Oh.
in the day.
Oh,
He had,
Yeah.
like, the fedora.
No, he still does.
He still
yeah,
does
he
it,
still
yeah.
does
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
tutorials.
Oh, I never
I,
heard of
He
that.
looks a lot older now, though.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I know the name from because
Not to cut you off. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's fine. That's
sorry.
fine. And so he didn't teach me shit. So I just had such a drive that I just kept learning and learning. And coming back to Nick because I love him so much. He was completely self-taught. He never took a single lesson. Check him out. He's Jesterhead, I think, on Instagram. Nick Steer of this
We'll
year's
tag him
comeback.
later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we'll-
can find him.
he'll be in the description
But
below.
he's a testament to how much you could really learn on your own.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
So ever
absolutely
since then, I'm about to turn 25. I've always kept up with the hobby. I mean, I kind of go through phases. Like there'll be times where like I'm learning new things and I'm keeping my chops up and I'm having a good old time with it. And then there'll be times where like a month or two will go by and I'm like, wait, I know how to play guitar. Holy shit. It comes in waves, I feel like. But I think the biggest thing is like, for anyone facing some kind of like blockage or not having the time or anything like that is like, you just don't force yourself, because I feel like if you force yourself, you're going to form some kind of resentment for it. I mean, even
Yeah,
though
for
it's something
sure.
you do for fun, or it might be something you're pursuing professionally, I feel like that's so detrimental to like try to form or to try to force yourself, and then you build up a resentment for
It's funny that
That's
you bore yourself
yeah,
with it a little
it's
bit.
funny that you bring that up because it's something I think about a lot. Is the idea of like forcing yourself to be creative, and like I think doing that is like I agree. Like you can get some kind of resentment and you can force yourself into a corner, but like if you're trying to do something creative as a profession. Like you want to be a musician professionally in any way. Like I've always wanted to be like a composer for like movies or music or whatever. If I ever wind up doing that, I'm gonna have a deadline to fulfill at some point. So like, what do you think of like stuff like that? Like how do you think people work in like creatives who have a deadline? Like when I was in music theory class, like we all took music classes in high school, we had deadlines that we had to be creative by a certain point.
Which is kind of weird to say because it's almost like putting a definition to creativity.
Right. It's
Which
like
there shouldn't be, but
it's kind of like contradictive. It's like, being creative. It's like, all right, you can be creative, but you have to be creative by this point. It's a little weird. Like, it's a little weird.
Like when I write songs, like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like, if I'm writing a song for me, usually what comes first is like either the lyrics randomly one day in my head and I'll just like write it down on my phone or whatever. And then, or it'll be, and I'll put the music to it later, or it'll be like some like chord progression on the guitar or something. And then it strikes an emotion toward in my brain, in myself, and then I like kind of resonate on that thought and idea and try to think about how to vocalize it, and that's how lyrics come about. I don't know, but like to be able to put a deadline on that and say like not to stray too far from what we were talking about, but like I don't know, I just feel like it is very contradictory, like you were saying. I don't know.
So back to what you were saying, I think that's really good advice in general that you could apply to your life, like all around, like
there's no rush.
Yeah, there's no rush.
You don't want to discourage yourself.
Definitely.
I recently heard, I played it for you in the place that shall not be named. I almost said it. Talking balls. This DJ producer that I listen to, his name's Grizz, and he had this little intro like talking. It was kind of like a poem or something, but he said, "Don't try, just be." Like you need
to...
to...
Yoda? You just quote Yoda at me?
I don't know if he's quoting Yoda.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Exactly. But it's like
same
it's really applicable to life. Like, you just be. Like, do your thing. Don't force yourself to do things. Don't try to be something. Just be who you are. Be what you are.
The best.
Don't give a damn about what anyone else says or thinks about what you think that, or what they think your music is, or what your craft is, or whatever. Just do you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge.
So Justin, you can continue with your origin story.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I guess that's pretty much it. It's just like
your superhero.
It's just such a passion of mine that it's just like something I've always kept up with. Like even times where I thought like there was only one really bad break where I was just like, I don't know what I was into at the time. I guess like smoking weed and being weird.
If it was something else, you could say it too. It's okay.
No.
Something else.
I'd smoke a little crack. I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
Sorry, Mom.
Smoking Elmers.
There was times where I thought I was gonna sell like what equipment, a couple guitars I did have, and it was just like I didn't think I was ever gonna play again. But I ended up starting. I didn't start it. I mean, I guess I kind of fell into it. A band started up called This Year's Comeback, and I started playing guitar with them. As a couple of pals of mine, Bryan, Matthew, Nick Steer, and Ryan Connor, and this fella Ken Rapsis, and they wanted me to play guitar with them, and it was just like it totally breathed new life into my interest and my desire to play and create, and it was just really good. And ever since then, they kind of like revitalized my desire to want to do it again. You know what I mean? So,
how long have you been playing with This Year's Comeback?
This Year's Comeback started without me, bastards, in 2014, and I think I want to say 2 years later is when I came through.
I would say it started earlier, if you ask me.
2014?
I think it was 2013. Cosmic Brownies.
Oh, Cosmic
Brownies. That's an incredible band name.
Yeah, before that, it was the Cosmic Brownies. Then it was...
Before that was 8-Bit Pistola.
No. It was Cosmic Brownies, 8-Bit Pistola, and then it was This Year's Comeback, I think.
No, Brownies first.
Yeah, Brownies first. That's what I mean.
Brownies first into 8-Bit Pistola.
Right.
That turned into... Because a few of these bands we're mentioning was like around like when we were in high school and whatnot. Yeah. I was in a band with Eric at one point.
Bastards kicked me out.
And then we kicked him out because he was on heroin in high school. It was honestly sad as fuck.
Oh man.
And
Went to college.
it's not because he was on heroin, it was because
I went to
he wouldn't
college.
share the heroin. And so anyway, these few little acts that we started, it was just silliness, just high school stuff and just bands for fun. And these last few acts shared members, but yeah, there was a time I thought I wasn't gonna be playing anymore, but it like, you know what I mean? You can't force yourself. But I'm glad like joining like my first like kind of serious band like revitalized my interest in it and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty much kind of like what happened to me too. Like when I joining my first serious band, like I mentioned before, like my buddy Noah called me up. That was a band called the Gettysburg Address, and we eventually became like again like swapped some members. The only like consistent members of all the bands were like me, my buddy Rob, and my buddy Noah. But then like that later became a band called Autumn U, and then we became a band called Bunk Beds. And then I left that band. I think they're still kicking it. So, like joining those, being in those environments, and especially if your band goes through like phases where members swap out and stuff, you play differently. And so, for example, like I'm a bassist, and we played with like 6 different drummers throughout the course of those 3 bands, and I played differently as a bassist depending on each drummer, and like it's a great thing. You can always like grow from that, especially in a serious setting where like you're just a ton of dudes who just want to seriously release music or perform on stage and stuff like that.
Being part of something too, I feel like is
Oh
it's
yeah.
definitely encouraging. If we're talking about like origin stories and stuff, and like getting into music, like being able to find that community, and even if it doesn't exist, even if it's just you and one other friend, like in your friend's garage or something, playing on an amp no bigger than a shoebox,
Yeah,
like
man.
it's monument to some people. To some, it's monumental stuff like that. Like it's crazy how like music can and just whatever you're doing, but like music, we're talking about music, can be such a moving aspect in your life. Whether no matter like whether you're going through a good time, bad time, or what, it's
Yeah.
like can save your life. I guess
Keeps you going.
keeps you going. Yeah.
So Jag, what about you, man?
Yeah. What do you play?
Yeah, we didn't.
So
we didn't talk about
my-
you yet.
I have a less
What do you do?
interesting origin story
Like a
from
new-
you guys, and I feel a lot of people. When I was in about 5th grade, I think my parents bought me a guitar, and I took lessons for like, I don't know, 3-6 months, and I used to just get so frustrated, and I would just not practice, and then go and be like, yeah, like I couldn't really do it.
Yo,
like,
starting is the hardest part.
it's
It
it's
really
so
is
it's so
rough,
hard to
bro.
break into, and so after that I've like always been super into music. I've always like been listening to music. I was super into like alternative music as I was growing up. My dad, like, he played so much like he's a huge Clash fan, huge Ramones, like he used to play all that for me. He got me into the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm like a diehard Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. I don't think I've gone more than a month without listening to like at least one album through, like
Stadium
like,
Arcadium,
it's usually
2
like
hours.
2 or 3. Yeah, yeah, the whole
quadruple
whole
LP on
thing
vinyl.
all the way down, like. But so music was always really big. I like stuff like Green Day, like Blink-182, like you said. I don't know what's wrong with you, man. Like
Fuck
I
Tom DeLonge's
I
voice,
love
dude.
Tom DeLonge's
Tom
voice.
DeLonge,
I just
if you're listening, you're welcome to come on the podcast and
Yeah.
defend yourself.
come defend yourself.
Tom DeLonge, come fight me.
I love how that's our pitch for people to come on the podcast.
He's got
To
a.
defend
me.
themselves.
Yeah,
He's
come-
probably
come represent
outside in a
yourself.
van right now with some sort of like alien listening device.
The FBI van.
My man's out looking for Martians right now.
Yeah, but yeah, that, and then I got really, really into Eminem. Also, the funny thing, you were mentioning Green Day. I remember I used to have such a struggle with trying to listen to Green Day because my parents wouldn't let me listen to explicit music until I was in like 7th or 8th grade, which was like a damper on my life. And so I used to have to try to find like the clean versions of the albums because growing up, we didn't have a computer with internet until I was in like 7th or 8th grade. So like I didn't have access to like iTunes like that. If I wanted to, I would have to like buy stuff on my mom's credit card, like at my grandpa's house, and like load it up to my iPod Nano. And so I had a very like select small selection of music to listen to. You were talking about Guitar Hero. That's where like I kind of really started getting into music. I remember I had like 3 Dragon Force albums that I would just listen to. Like that's all that I listened to. Like 3s and 7s, like you were talking about Queens of the Stone Age. Yeah, I mean they're not metal, are they?
Dragon Force?
Yeah,
kind of.
But there's
They're,
not. It's
they're
the
metal.
screaming. Like the screaming was always a like thing for me that turned me off because I didn't understand what they were saying. And like I didn't really get it. Yeah, but see, that's a thing. I was talking to someone that we work with, Andre, and he was like, he got like kind of pissed when I said the word screamo.
Yeah,
because that's
always
in the metal scene.
Yeah,
like
that always bolsters up weird opinions.
Yeah, that'll like bubble someone's blood.
Most
like,
most musicians.
My
have, like,
blood
weird
is bubbling right now.
Of screamo. I've talked to so many people about that. I've yet to find someone who like a consistent definition of screamo. Like everyone I talk to has a different like examples of screamo.
Yeah,
Weird.
so those things. Also, I remember Bulls on Parade. Me and my cousin would play that song over and over and over and over again on Guitar Hero, and I was like, wow, like Rage Against the Machine. This is insanity. Like
Incredible.
I was like 12, 13 years old, like ready to bang my head into the walls of my house. Like, but so from there, I just kept going, listening to music, and when I was a sophomore in high school, I started picking up guitar again. I remember I went to the place that shall not be named and
Cock and balls,
Cock and
dude.
Balls.
I think it's called the Bass Zone.
Yeah, the Bass Zone.
I feel like that's a little too close.
Okay.
Actually, it's called the Vox Center. No, the Vox Center.
Oh, the Vox Center.
That's
Okay.
the old name.
Yeah. So
Is it really?
Yep.
really.
You'll learn once you do.
Is that also too close?
Once you go to the
we can
Cock and
beep it
Balls
out.
University, Joe, you're gonna learn all that. Don't worry. You got more to learn.
Eric, you know what's really funny? What? I'm about to give you a lot of work. Ready?
Let's go.
No. You're someone pull the XLR out of his mic. He's not allowed to talk anymore. But so I got the guitar and I went down to in Point Pleasant. I forget the exact name of the store. I'd love to give them a shout out. Ocean County Music, I think it's called. Yeah, Ocean County Music, and I started taking lessons there with this really cool dude. He was awesome. I wish that it's like I said earlier, like breaking into it was just so hard for me.
Mhm.
I got further than I did the first time, but it got to the point where like school and I was in a relationship, so I was like just lacking with it.
How serious was it?
I mean, it was high
It was
school.
yeah, it was a high school relationship.
This is high school. I
yeah.
thought this was like still elementary school or
No,
something.
no. I said sophomore. I was a
Did that give your
sophomore in high
question
school.
more merit from elementary school?
No, she was a great girl though. I was if I could go back, I would change so many things. I was like, I wasn't. I mean, I guess.
Don't live in the past,
Yeah,
Jack.
yeah. Don't live in the past. I should have treated her better. Let's say, but
Live and learn.
yeah, live and learn. But I kind of fell off again, and then I would pick it up every once in a while and just like kind of write my own little like riffs almost, and I would mess around with it for a couple weeks, and then I would fall off. Like I would go back and look at my binder that they would give me and like start playing the scales again and then fall off, and it was just a vicious cycle of like playing for a week and quitting and being like, oh, this is too hard. Like I'll never be good at this. Like, and I didn't comprehend that like all you have to do is put in the time, and like if you just play 15 minutes a day, like in a year you'll be so much better than you started. And I just didn't really comprehend that. And then so at that point I was still like music every single day, get home, listen to music. I remember I used to put my headphones up through my sweatshirt in my sweatshirt
the
sleeves, and I would lean on my
Yo, I used
desk
to do
and
that
listen to
shit too.
music through my headphones all day long at school because I was just always so bored at school, and I just like absolutely hated it. But like music like got me through it, and so I'd like listen to music all day, and it just like made me happy. Like I remember, I could probably say that Kid Cudi like saved my life. Like I don't know where I would be without like the pursuit of happiness, and like I felt like the man on the moon kind of, you know, like Mr. Solo Dolo, like that was me. But so I kept continuing with music, and then very recently, actually, it was last summer. I went to the music festival Firefly, and I just was overwhelmed by the amount of like how artists could literally like make me forget about everything that was wrong with my life, everything that like I didn't like about my life, like all the unhappiness that I had, and just like forget about that for an hour when they were playing. And it was just so powerful and moving. I remember specifically Alice in Wonderland. Like I probably cried through like half the set because it was just so moving to me, and that inspired me to start DJing. So I went back to the place that shall not be named, aka Cock and Balls, aka Vox, whatever,
aka Bass Zone.
Bass Zone.
Bass Zone.
And I got a little like shitty used Tractor S3, and I started DJing a little bit with my good friend Vinny Spinelli. Just such an incredibly talented DJ. Incredible. It's crazy. Like he makes these mashups of songs, and it's like the mind, like the sheer brain power that goes into it is like crazy, like how he does it. And so he started
just kissing, dude.
If he was here, I'd plant a big old kiss on his cheek.
Land him a fat one.
Yeah, land him the big old fat one. But so he started teaching me to DJ, and we started up this thing called JV Productions, Jack and Vinny Productions, and it's kind of a shitty name because it's like, what do you want to be on, varsity or JV? so like I started to realize, I was like, shit,
You guys can't call yourselves VJ.
Yeah, because then we're like vaginas, and it's like, god damn it.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No. We love women.
No.
We love vaginas. I love them
Like,
a lot.
honestly, if I
Like-
saw one, I wouldn't, that'd be nuts, dude.
Yeah. Like, vaginas, come defend yourself on the podcast. But yeah, so
Wow.
he got me into producing a little bit, and same thing, same vicious cycle of like doing something and being overwhelmed by it. Like we started making a couple songs and then never really finished with it. We like DJ'd a couple parties. I don't know, I've probably DJ'd like 3 or 4 small parties events with my friends, and there's like no better feeling than being up there. Like I just feel so cool, like feel like such a badass. Like it's an incredible rush, and pretty much I'm just a bedroom DJ at this point. I also picked up bass for a little bit, but I like same thing. I'm just so bad at like staying consistent with it. Like I get so discouraged. And then recently, actually, shout out Armeng Armeng. He's at ARMENGGG, a certain amount of G's on Instagram. One of
Spotify.
probably the most. Yeah, he's got some stuff on Instagram. On iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. It'll be in the description below. I'll definitely link that for you guys. Probably one of the most, like, he has the most incredible mind. Like, his music is incredible. He's a freaking genius. He'll never admit it, but
And a sweetheart, dude.
yeah, he's great dude. He started teaching me piano recently, and I've actually been somewhat consistent with it. I went through a little bit of a rough patch recently with my parents. I moved out. We're good now, but yeah, so I fell off a little bit, but I have been practicing. Armin, if you're listening, I swear I'm practicing.
Armin. Oh yeah, Armin's
don't be
teaching
mad at
piano,
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much my origin. Trying to think about what else. That's pretty much it for me. Yeah. I wish I had a awesome story like you guys did. I wish I had the knowledge you guys did, but you know how it is.
You got that DJ knowledge. I had a friend who like DJ stuff, and I remember I got curious about it. And this was a long time ago. This was like young, maybe freshman year of high school. And asked him to like try to teach me how to do it, and he had like a pretty nice little, I don't know, do you guys call them turntables? Is that whatever you call
I
those?
call it a deck.
Deck? Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Well, he had a nice deck. He had a nice
Yeah?
Unsolicited deck pics.
Unsolicited deck pics.
dude. He had the like nicest Blue Eyes White Dragon Yu-Gi-Oh deck I've ever seen.
Pure Kaiba. What's his last name?
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
No, that's Karate Kid.
No, that's fucking
No, it's
Karate
Kaiba.
Kid.
Kaiba. It's Kaiba Man. It's Kaiba Man.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you know, and but
Yugi.
he was like trying to, you know, fucking describe to me what everything did, and he like did it in like paces. Like he was trying to just introduce me to like the basics, and I was like, how do you do this? How do you make? I didn't get it. I don't know, but it's like mad respect for doing that, dude. Like it's just like you're playing an instrument and just playing an instrument that I'm not familiar with.
I mean, a lot of people think of it as just like push and play and stuff, but it's really so much more than that. It's incredible. If it wasn't for my good friend Vinny, like I wouldn't have been able to break into it. Like I'm eternally grateful to him for that. So that's everyone's origin. We talked about bands. Let's go into the time that we're in currently, COVID. How are we doing? How are you guys keeping relevant?
I think that with COVID going on and all that, you know, obviously there's, you know, venues as a whole have been halted.
Out the window.
Totally
There's
halted.
No
There's
shows
nothing.
happening.
Nope.
Thank God for
Occasional
people.
drive-in.
Yeah.
What's that?
The occasional drive-in.
Yeah, shout out to the clubhouse at Tom's
Yeah, for
River.
sure.
They were pioneers in getting that kicked off too. They're trying their best, man, but it's hard. I know it's hard, especially when you're like run volunteer and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
all the thanks in the world to all those like all the indie dudes with like big backyards or basements having shows at their house, man. That's
Amen.
like that's been a
Live
a
stream
saving grace.
kings too. Keep
Live
streams out there, dude.
Twitch. Shout out to Twitch.
Dude.
Shout out to
Twitch.
everyone
Oh,
on
yeah.
Twitch that are giving us
Instagram
content
live stream, Instagram
Yeah.
live. Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Well, I think that with the what do we call it at work? This
where do you work again?
Cock and
We don't
balls.
talk about that. We don't talk about it.
The platform or whatever. The landscape. That's
Landscape.
it. The landscape of what's
Landscape?
going on
Oh, the lane.
with everything. You know, with like coronavirus and all that. I think that social media, unfortunately, is going to be the prime way to stay relevant. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta,
for sure.
You're gonna have to, you artists and bands and whatever you do, you're gonna have to adapt and overcome and conquer. But you know, it's doable.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
I think it's doable.
My good friend Tom, shout out to Loud Muffin Audio, Muffin, told me a bit of advice that I've always remembered since he told me is like you should every musician or artist, whatever, it's the rule of thumb is 2 releases per year. That's how you stay relevant. Doesn't matter if it's a single, doesn't matter if it's an EP, an album, a music video. If you release just 2 pieces of media a year, you're still somewhat relevant, and you'll like at least be in the back of people's minds at that point. So I think that, and social media is a great way of doing that.
Oh yeah.
So I know with the whole pandemic, the COVID being locked in quarantine, I mean, for me personally, I think it was worse than for a few people because my dad had a kidney transplant. He has a autoimmune deficiency because he takes medication to make it so his kidney doesn't get rejected. So like I couldn't even leave the house really. I mean, like I could go outside and stuff, but I was kind of just, I really need social, super quarantined. I really need like social interaction. Like I need to see my friends. I need to like talk to people. I'm a very social person. If I don't have people around in my life, like I really get into a low, like dark place. And so I really, everything just went down the drain for me. I was doing really well in school, and then actually it kind of put me on a path to, I'm no longer doing school now, which I'm kind of thankful for because that was a very stressful time in my life, and now I'm not as stressed out. I'm definitely way happier, but I don't think I DJ'd the entire quarantine. Like my turntables, I guess, as you say, my deck. If anyone wants to see my deck, I can.
Deck.
I'll post deck pics on Instagram. Or my private snap. Who wants private snap? I'll put deck pics on there. It pretty much turned into a like part of my desk where I was just putting stuff on top of it, and I remember I got into a little bit of a World of Warcraft addiction. I think addiction's an understatement. Addiction. I was waking up at whatever time, and then I would play World of Warcraft for 12 to 16 hours, and then I'd go to sleep, and then I'd wake up, and it was just a vicious cycle. Did you guys have anything similar to that, where did you fall off musically at all at any points? Was mental health falling off?
Oh man, I definitely had struggled a lot, especially in the past like couple of months. The
Mhm.
past few months have been hard. Like all those months before I went back to cock and balls was, cock and balls gave me some stability.
Yeah, same. I hate to say it.
Should we like clarify what that means? Did we
No.
ever explain that?
We never can.
It's
we
the
can't.
thing that you yelled a bunch earlier that we have to bleep out.
Oh, you mean? No, I'm not gonna give Eric more work. That's fucked up.
You gave him a long one to do.
The bass zone.
Yeah. That but yeah, those were rough because I resigned from my last band like I don't know, a little bit more than halfway through the summer, like around August or maybe it was even just September. But and that's been really hard because I've never been good at being a musician by myself, which
Mhm.
in my fucking head it makes me not a musician at all. But I've been trying to get another thing going up with my buddy Bryan, but that's been hard. I completely tore apart my whole like room and redesigned it into like a studio space. And all my basses, my guitar, my drum kit, my piano, and like I just need a computer and like a what do you call it, an interface, and I'll be good. But like
Scarlet Solo.
yeah, yeah, man.
2i2.
But I'm fucking
PC?
terrified to do it. I'm like, okay, that we definitely. But like, do we have to?
There's 6-month financing.
Do we have to bleep out?
I don't know.
I
You
think
should.
so.
You should.
I think
I
we
feel
should,
like you should
like,
cover your ass.
If we say
I'll just bleep out
bro coverage, is that okay?
bro coverage. Yeah.
Bro coverage. You get the bro coverage
get
on
the
I
it.
bro
love
coverage.
these. I'm loving these loopholes.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's definitely how to listening to music has been helping. I just started rewatching my masterclass that I bought like a year ago. I bought the Danny Elfman masterclass. That's been inspiring. That's been giving me a little bit of hope. And then like Hot Mulligan. Hot Mulligan's been making me get through the days pretty good.
Hot Mulligan.
Yeah, Hot Mulligan's
Not
sick,
familiar.
sick band. Probably my favorite band right now next to Origami Angel. Yeah, they've been
Nice.
definitely helping me out. So
What genre are those?
emo.
Emo.
Yeah, I'm the emo head, definitely.
I used to love some emo music.
Yeah.
Oh
dude,
yeah.
That's my jam, dude. Hot Mulligan, Origami Angel have been getting me through all the hard times right now.
Oh yeah.
And as well as just finding any way to get inspiration. But it sucks because like, when I left a band, or I didn't have any like forced or structured, I should say, like way of constantly being creative with music. Like I kind of like what you did with WoW. I had like the vicious cycle of like, all right, what movie am I gonna watch today, or like
Yeah.
what show am I gonna
Yeah.
watch today? How many hours am I gonna fucking binge MasterChef for some
Mhm.
reason? Like, I have no way of like actually sitting down and doing something. I'll play. In my house, the only way I can like practice drums is early in the morning, because like other people come home and like I can't practice drums because it bothers people. So I have to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and find the fucking energy to like play a drum kit
Yeah.
and the focus to play a drum kit until like 11:30 or some shit. And that's hard. Like I'll go to bed the night before and be like, I have to practice drums today, and then I'll wake up and be like, but it's hard, man.
Yeah.
Hard.
To add in a little bit there, I know we were talking earlier about like kind of forcing yourself, not like forcing yourself to do things, but like when it comes to trying. And I saw a picture like a while ago, and it really stands out to me, and it popped into my head right now. But it was like there's kind of this cycle where it's like inspiration, action, and then like inspiration, action. What?
Profit.
No, no,
Question
it's
mark,
like,
question mark. Profit.
yeah, something else. But like, you don't need inspiration to start it. Like if you start with the action, eventually you're gonna get that inspiration to continue. Like sometimes you just have to like force yourself to like practice, you know, like force yourself to do something. Like force yourself out of bed, make yourself go for a walk, make yourself go for a bike ride, do something, and then like, because once you do something, you feel so much better. Like
Glad you did.
Like yeah, you're so happy that you did it. Like you don't want to do it at first, but then once you do, like you're so like excited that you did. Like lately, like the past few weeks since I moved out, like I've been just like, when I wake up in the morning, like I force myself not to go on my phone. I like get
It's
up.
hard.
I know it's so hard. I'll like make breakfast. I'll go for a walk, like walk to the bay, walk to the beach, something, and then like read a book for like 30 minutes. And like I feel so much better throughout the day, even being like a tiny bit productive, than if I was to sit in bed for an hour, scroll through my phone, like text people, whatever, like watch Instagram videos. And it's like, it's such a better way of life to like make yourself do like a little bit of anything. Yeah, it's
Dude,
just
the phones
stay
are
busy.
Fucking brutal, bro. Oh my god,
Yeah.
the death scroll, man. Holy shit. No kidding.
It sucks you.
I've been able to.
It sucks you in the worst way.
It sucks in the worst way, dude. I've been able to like not open Instagram for like a week, but I have not gotten the courage to like delete the app. But now, as of right now, it's like
we kind of need it a little bit.
I
now.
need it. Yeah, I need it now to like promote the things I'm like trying to get going.
Yeah.
It's a great tool, but man, can it suck you in, dude?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like cigarettes.
Yeah.
Feels cool.
Shout out to
looks
Sigs.
cool. Looks cool.
This
No.
this podcast.
Justin, you feel attacked?
This podcast
do you
brought
feel
to you by
attacked, DJ?
cigarettes.
We're sponsored by Marlboro.
Nah, dude, fuck that, dude. American Spirit.
Yeah, not that.
Great
That's
band,
my
dude.
go-to. That's a
Talk
band.
about an
Are
indie
they a
band.
band?
They're a cool ass indie band.
Where are they from?
Oh, fuck, they're from the Midwest.
America.
They're not like local.
All right,
But,
American Spirit. Come on the podcast and defend yourself.
Dude, I'll video chat with those dudes. They're crazy good. They had an album that came out I think 2 years ago. I think they're still together. I think they've just been like a little quiet recently. But like, go on Spotify, listen to American Spirits, dude. They're so good. Their song Cicada, really great.
Interesting. All right, so that's me and Joe on the pandemic, pretty much. Eric,
man.
Justin, you want to rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
Yeah.
We had such a debacle.
Too bad there's no video. That is scissor. That's scissor, paper.
No, I don't give a
Eric
fuck.
winning.
Okay.
Not that I don't give a
No,
fuck,
what
but I
happened
want to
to
hear
our
your
thing?
story.
So, what did I do over quarantine?
Not just what you did, like how did
Well, no,
you,
how
are
I
you
dealt- how I
how
dealt
are
with
you
it.
dealing with it? Like
how am I dealing
The
with it?
following is Eric's
get fucking
quarantine.
deep,
Dude,
man. That's Justin slapping his arm like he's trying to
No,
do some
that's me.
heroin.
I'm actually pulled my wiener out and I
Oh,
yanked
fuck.
on it really hard.
He's slapping Joe in the face with it. Joe's loving it.
Like a
Okay.
baloney windmill.
Good thing we didn't do video.
A baloney windmill on wet tile.
Oh God! I'm learning new things, as is everyone right now, I think.
That's the name of his next indie project.
Yeah, dude. The band Baloney Windmill EP Wet Tile 2021.
That's the new name of the podcast, Baloney Windmill. Check it out on Instagram.
Oh man.
All right.
All right, back
Sorry, Eric.
back to Eric,
Jack,
the wizard.
I totally feel that whole falling into a hole kind of thing, man. Beginning of protein. Beginning
Thought
of
you were gonna say coverage.
the beginning of quarantine, I was playing a little bit of guitar. I was stoked to be out of work.
Yeah, me too.
'Cause
I was so
It
excited.
was cool because I was stoked at first, and then the boredom hit. Yeah, not being able to really see anybody in person, that was pretty tough. I kind of fell into a bit of a hole a little bit. I felt like I was doing really good in my life, just like personally, not like in like a work way or anything.
Yeah.
But just like personally, mentally, I was feeling pretty good, and then quarantine hit. It wasn't so bad. I was able to maintain, but as it went on, I didn't see people for a while. It was kind of tough, and I definitely should have played way more with guitar and music and practice more than I did. I was playing, trying to write here and there. I was trying to keep things current with the band too, but it's tough.
Yeah.
And we ended up not seeing each other for like 3 months.
Yeah, Danny was quarantining pretty hard, right?
Danny had to quarantine pretty hard because I think someone he knew had it, or someone in his family had it, so they had to quarantine, and then his mom's a nurse. Well, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see the boys or anybody really for like 3 months, and it was like, whoa,
Yeah.
there are other people out there, and it was like, it was definitely tough trying to like just keep yourself busy when all you could do was just sit around,
Yeah.
really, and the phone thing. But I don't really have much else to say, I guess, about that.
Yeah.
It was just definitely was tough though. It's very easy to fall into that hole of just not doing anything, just sitting there all day.
And they're watching TV.
Watching TV.
How many times did I watch Rick and Morty over and over?
Dude. Oh my God. I rewatched the whole
Hunters.
Hunters.
Amazon Prime. Great show.
Hunters? Oh, I thought you were talking about like
Amazon
Hunter x
Prime.
Hunter.
Come on, Jeff Bezos, defend yourself.
Jeff Bezos, give us money.
Give us.
You
We know
bitch.
You
Yeah.
have too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, I was gonna say we know you.
You don't have anything to do with it.
You bald
Like-
fuck. Fuck you.
But so Eric, like, was there
What's that?
anything that you was there anything that you did consistently to help you get like through that boredom, like that was like either productive or just generally like relaxing for your
Actually,
mental
yeah,
health?
dude. You know what? I'd spend a lot of time working on my my studio.
Oh, yeah.
I for a
One room
while
now?
it was just in my bedroom, and I actually expanded it to 2 different rooms now. So I have the room.
The one we're in now.
One room we're in now, which is the new control room, and then the upstairs classic space station is the new studio, live studio, I guess you could say.
Nice. Hopefully we can get some bands up there.
Yeah, we'll hopefully
Oh,
have
yeah.
some entertainment for everyone to see soon.
Space Station Tiny Desk.
Spacious station, tiny desk, dude. Let's go.
Space sessions.
All right, let's throw it over to Justin. How
Okay,
was
well,
quarantine?
when the quarantine first started, dude, it was like, Siri, go away.
Oh, god damn it.
You put it up to the mic.
The
He was gonna say
fucking
something.
phone, man.
Everybody,
It is-
welcome guest appearance Siri.
Siri, come defend yourself.
Well, I didn't see too much lack of work because when the quarantine kicked off, because I'm what you call a essential worker, and
essential worker. What do you do?
I'm an electrician, and I was working on a Target at the time, and Target, they weren't having none of that. So Target basically made the argument that, to our local jurisdictions and governments saying, well, we are an essential business because we have a bunch of overpriced like organic food. So they basically they classify as a like a grocery store basically. So I didn't see too much time off, but like goddamn, just like trying to make sense of all of it and trying to stay safe and figure out what I needed to do to make sure that my family was safe. It was like totally really scary. I mean, I'd like to think that we have some semblance of like a jump on it now, but there's still a concerning amount of uncertainty that we're seeing, and so in that way my life carried on, I guess you could say. Business as usual. You can't see it, but I'm doing little air quotes. Business as usual.
Yep.
But it like what a goddamn weird year this has been, man. It's like
Yeah.
it just for everyone. It feels so weird. Like
It's literally out of the Twilight Zone.
mhm.
Literally,
Yeah,
like
It's a really weird time in our lives, man, and it put a lot of stress on my family and my friends, and I split with the girl I was seeing for about 5 years. So, it would have been 5 years this month. And, because she, with her schooling was totally like went to hell because they're trying to figure out how to properly be able to teach everybody. And she just got so behind because, there was concerns with someone from our friend group might have maybe having it. And so she had to take some time off and was really behind. It was just too much stress for her, and it's nothing against her or anything. People need to take the time to do what they have to do. You know, it was not something that was ugly. It's not something that I'm resentful of, but it's rough, you know, to have like so many like huge life changes, and sometimes you see things that you thought were
You think
unchanging, unrelenting, that the constants in your life, to see them be totally flipped on their head and totally changed is like something else. It's something that you don't think you're gonna have to deal with, but I think a lot of people are experiencing that.
Yeah,
you know, that
sure.
like, holy
it's
shit,
a whole new normal.
a new normal. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, dude.
Normal.
So that's kind of how my quarantine's been going. It's totally fucked.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, not similar to that, but like kind of having people that were someone that was like in my life and then no longer in my life. I was living down at Stockton, and it was my spring break. The first week was when everything started to shut down. And I actually had 2 Colombian exchange roommates that I got like really, really close with. We were hanging out every night, like having an amazing time. And also another one of my roommates, kid Dan, we were all getting really close, and we were like, oh, cool, like we get like 2 weeks off, like awesome, like yeah, shut down, like not yeah, shut down, but like yeah, like no school, like awesome, no class, like an extended spring break. It's gonna be a great time. I was all excited. Little did I know what I was getting myself into, you know, like really, really took a turn for the ugly.
Yeah.
But so that's everyone on COVID. I think I'd like to talk a little bit maybe about writing, how we write our artistic processes. I think that might be interesting for the listeners.
Yeah.
Already covered mine.
Yeah, you covered yours a little bit.
Yeah.
Joe?
Well, like I said before, I struggle a lot as a solo
Mm-hmm.
and I don't write well by myself. Period. I feel like one of the general rules of thumb to follow is like write something first, no matter what, because like it will be bad and you revise it later.
Yeah.
I have never been able to get my brain to do that. I always just like find a smorgasbord of reasons to hate it, and then I just like trash it. But I shouldn't do that.
You know what not to cut you off real
No,
quick,
no,
but
so-
you know what I learned as like, you know, I went to school to become like a producer, audio engineer and stuff. And one piece of advice that really resonated with me was that you have to be able to say enough's enough and to say when's when.
Enough's enough. Elaborate.
When is when. So when writing, you think something with writing or with mixing or producing or whatever, you know, you think that there's always something wrong, or there's always something that can be improved, which, you know, maybe there is. But what I find is that, you know, you have to be able to just say enough's enough.
Yeah.
You know, to know when to stop and when to sit back and smell the roses, you know, kind of thing.
I think I see what you're saying.
You know what I
So
mean?
like just to, I don't know, like realize, I guess, what you're doing's.
There almost has to be like a sense of, I think, like humility.
Yeah.
You know, there's never when writing music. For me, I struggled a lot for like what you were saying. There's always a list of things, you know.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
don't know. I guess
But-
that's it. That's all I got for
Oh,
that. But
no, I
sorry.
feel you. But I mean, when it comes to like the writing process, when I've been part of the many different bands I've been a part of, I was never the sole songwriter, or I should say like song creator, kind of, because every band I've been in, I don't know about you guys, but there would always be usually one, maybe 2 people who would come up with the like bass concept, like the core concept
Yeah.
of the song, and then we kind of revise, jump in, edit. So I have songwriting experience because like I've been able to, you know, get that instinct of being like, maybe we should not do that here. We should go into like more of a bridge here, or like that's too wide, or like, you know, or you know, whatever it may be. And then, you know, all my experience with writing bass lines for things pretty self-explanatory. I feel like pretty much every bassist generally does it. I don't want to make too big of a blanket statement, but yeah, I like just taking those concepts, fleshing them out. I've had a little bit experience with just writing on the spot, like jamming, like all of my bandmates would be around and just jam out of nowhere, and then we'll be like, oh man, we really liked what we came up with, but then we'd forget what we did like 2 days later. And a lot of songs are in a graveyard, but that's with every band though. Like, there's so many songs that like actually had potential but are just like,
Oh yeah.
like you forget about, or like the momentum stops and type vibe, and like you just fill the graveyard full of like songs that didn't make it. So I guess, and I'm pretty slow when I go, because you asked about the process itself.
Yeah.
I'll usually get like a video or a basic rundown of my guitarist playing something, or they'll come to practice with something, and I'll just I kind of just jam on it for a little bit and 90% of what I play is just hot, steamy, wet garbage. And then, but I'll find one thing that I'll be like, oh, I like that. I like the way that beat hit, or I like the way my note placement here, and then I'll try to keep that same thematic going and kind of run with it.
Expand on that.
And learning music theory helped a little bit. I should say, like, mostly melodic theory. When it like that all helped, and modular theory helped a ton because it helped me to not fear like moving all around the instrument. But other than that, like, I kind of have, I guess, in a short answer, I kind of have a go with the flow kind of mentality when it comes to writing things.
So for people who don't know what those few things that you just mentioned were, because I feel like a lot of
I've been
listeners
playing
aren't going to
guitar
be.
since I was 5, and I still don't know what modes are.
Yeah.
Modes are not. All right, so modes. So like you have a scale, right? All right, so modular theory is just the concept of taking a scale and then following the same scale pattern but changing the root note.
And a scale, just for like people who don't know, like a scale is.
All right,
Smoke in the water, but then making it higher pitched.
Your mic.
Smoke in the water, but making it higher pitched.
Yeah,
Right.
sure. Well, so yeah, I guess if I were to make a definition for a scale is just
Grouping of notes.
a pattern of notes.
Pattern.
I guess that helps
Sequence.
A sequence.
Sequence
Yes,
that
that's
sounds
the best. A sequence
sounds
of
good
notes.
together.
Mathematical sequence.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty much what it is. So like a mode is just following the exact same pattern, but if you start on the second of the scale, you now have Dorian. So yeah. So I like, for example, as my old band, we wrote a song, and I wrote a chorus that was in G.
Which is a key.
Yeah, technically, yeah. And I never would have known how to do that without, I guess, learning those things. But
Mhm.
you don't need to learn those things to do that, because anybody can just have like that natural ear, like that inclination. Be like, oh, I'm gonna go play this over here. It's in key. You're playing all those in key, but they don't know that they're technically playing in this weird thing. Because it doesn't matter. Whatever
Yeah.
feels right, whatever works is what Right, right. And that's kind of actually what I did. I wrote the thing, and then I realized later, I was like, oh, that's in a mode. That's neat. So
Yeah, something that I just popped into my mind. I'm pretty sure the Beatles actually didn't know music theory, or like didn't really use it, or something along those lines. I've heard.
well, I mean, I know the Chili Peppers didn't.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
like-
See, like, so it's not that important,
I
but
think-
it's definitely a cool thing to learn for
I think
sure.
I heard something.
Definitely help.
I mean, don't hold me to this, but I could have swore I heard somewhere that like Flea and Anthony Kiedis never bothered to learn like how to read music or understand music theory until after or during the writing of Stadium Arcadium.
Wow,
Like they went that whole time like
Yeah.
not knowing.
that's
Like it was all just
crazy.
a feel thing.
It's like what sounds good,
Yeah.
like just play what sounds good, and if it sounds good, then it sounds good, and if it doesn't, then there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
You should do something different.
Justin, how do you write music?
Yeah, what's your writing process?
Well, I remember like early on in like the band's like life, there like for that first record, it's called "Far From Fine: A Garden State Tragedy" by This Year's Comeback. There was definitely like an idea that was had by Nick and Bryan, and there was definitely like an idea there that they followed, because Nick, did a lot of the arrangement, and he did quite a bit of writing, and Bry, he had a story in mind. Like it actually is a concept album telling the story about someone, and there was definitely a vision there that they put together to like create that record, and a release that we did afterwards, and the releases we did afterwards had more of a focus on group effort, though. In other words, the writing on the subsequent albums were more of a focus on, let's get together. We all need to make time to come in and form opinions on things and be able to have more of a conscious group effort. And, I think we benefited a lot from that in subsequent releases after that. And that's pretty much all there is to it. It's just like, it's definitely a lot different experience doing like a group writing session as opposed to like two people coming in and being like, hey, this is what we're playing, learn this. It's definitely a different vibe for the band. And because of this process, we created my favorite thing that the band has ever done. It's called Douglas Wake, and it was a 4-song EP that had a big emphasis on we all need to be contributing. I think is the best way to put it. And we just all wanted to be a bigger part of the writing process, and that's what shaped that. So that's pretty much.
I didn't know that. Knowing that now, it kind of makes me want to like revisit it. Like,
what's that? What's that?
Douglas Wake and like.
Douglas Wake is
like,
awesome.
And the first one too, like Garden State Tragedy. Just compare it.
Yeah, you want to? I'm kind of interested. You want to talk about a little bit about both of those, or one of them, like what they're about, like where the inspiration came from.
Well, Garden State Tragedy, and I wish Bryan was here. He could explain it a lot better. It's a concept album that follows the story of like just a young man's journey through early adolescence. Well, I don't want to say early adolescence, but story of a fella going through heartbreak and just growing up and shit and seeing friends come and go. And
it's like a fictional, or is it based on someone?
I don't want to say
kind of like everyone's kind of collective.
I don't want to say definitively for sure, because it wasn't me who like kind of came up with that concept album concept, but it's I think there's some of it based on truth and true experience.
Bryan, come defend yourself.
Bryan, if you're listening, you're welcome to come on the podcast to defend yourself and talk about how fucking sad we were when that record was made. Holy shit. Yeah, that first record is like really fucking sad, man. We all went through, a lot of shit around that time, but I guess that's really just like part of growing up and whatnot. What I mean? You deal with it's not all going to be happy. That's for sure in life. And then Douglas Wake was just like Douglas Wake is hard as fuck. That was like a lot of fun, man. And I would like our future projects to kind of like gravitate in that direction. Like a heavier sound, and we'll see, because I don't think it's been mentioned yet. I don't think I mentioned it yet, but this year's comeback is actually on a hiatus right now, and we have been even before the coronavirus hit, man. So we weren't really hit too hard, because we got our lives that we gotta focus on the real shit too.
Yeah.
But so that's also ties into what we were talking about, like how did coronavirus affect your bands, but we're just kind of chilling right now.
Yeah,
it's the only way to put it.
I feel like that's just a general thing that indie bands and indie artists have to deal with, like all the time, like signed bands and bands that are funded by record labels and stuff don't have to worry about that type of stuff. But, the indie artists who are just doing it for the sake of doing it, or like doing it for the dream, hopefully they get signed. Like they still gotta hold down like job, make money, like do their responsibilities that they got to do.
Everyone's got their side gigs, or sometimes it turns
the hustle,
to their main gig.
The hustle, man, the
Amen,
grind,
the hustle.
Yeah, that's actually
a grindstone, dude.
A really good segue. That something we were mentioning earlier was, how do you guys cope with, like, I'm sure all of us want to do music full time. Like, how do you cope with doing the 9 to 5?
Well, cock and balls is my life, dude.
I was just about to say that, actually.
It's For those of you who don't know, I actually work at. I'm gonna have to beep that out later. But
Bro, you should have just not said it.
Yeah, like
it's
it's not
okay.
gonna matter. People
No,
can't hear
this
it
is-
anyway.
This is important.
I don't
This is
think we
important.
do. We have to beep it out. Like, is that
I mean,
sketchy?
Eric said we had
Probably,
to.
yeah.
yeah.
I'm a
Fair enough.
manager, so I mean.
Yeah,
I
okay,
feel like if
that's
there's anyone's
fair, that's
judgment,
fair.
we should take
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm gonna
alright.
say that just because I've heard of some things going crazy.
horror stories.
Yeah, some horror
All
stories.
right. Well, we can bleed it out. Let's
So, anyways,
let's stop
what were
saying
we
that word
talking
then,
about?
for sure. So getting through that 9 to 5
Yes,
while you're
dude.
wanting to
So-
do music full time.
And you know what's crazy, man, is like I love music. Music is my life. You know, it is even in my non-musical life, like
Yeah.
in my regular 9 to 5 grind or
It's
whatever.
music.
It's
It's
still
music.
music, yeah.
I'm surrounded by it.
Shout outs to Aaron.
Shout out to Aaron, the Doomsday Shredder, baby. Let's go.
Always surrounded by the
Dude,
shreds.
now that I think about it though, I like don't know if I like sometimes wonder if, not to get into this tangent a little bit, but
No, I mean, that's on
I
topic.
sometimes think that because my life is surrounded by music in my regular 9 to 5 life, it makes it
You feel like less compelled to do it in
less
your free
compelled
town.
to do it in my free time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
That's
the same way,
That's
kinda.
something that I was talking
Which
to.
kind of freaks me out,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
know?
Scary thought.
you know, because I love music.
yeah, that's something that like I always get freaked out when I hear that. I got really worried about a good friend of mine the other day. I won't say his name right now. He'll be on the podcast eventually. Maybe he'll want to talk about it, but I just wouldn't want to put him on blast like that. He was saying that like the job was just so taxing on him from like higher ups and stuff like that, like pressure on him to push people to do things that they're already trying to do that like we're really working hard to do. And he literally said like he doesn't want to play guitar. He like doesn't like want to be in the band. Like I don't know how like sincere that was, but like it really is taxing on people for sure. Like I said, like
It's a shame.
like I said earlier, sometimes like working, like when I get back from work, like I'm just drained. Like I don't want to DJ after I get home from work. Like I just don't have that like high energy that I have on a day off when I wake
I
up
want
and
to
like
just like sit on the
do
lay on the
something.
couch,
Yeah.
watch maybe some Hulu or Netflix or something.
hang
and
out,
man.
or whatever, smoke a big old
smoke a nice
bong,
big
like
old doobie or something.
old
you know?
doobie, something like that.
Smoke a
It's like,
dookie.
Smoke a dookie,
Smoke
And
a
so-
fucking Scooby snack.
do you think that if you
gabagool.
think that
Smoke some
that
weed.
What are you talking about?
we don't do drugs
smoke a
on
belly
the
beats.
Local Acts Only podcast? This is
We
all
only-
theoretical jokes.
We only smoke meth and do Quaaludes, so
Whoa.
Do medicinal heroin.
I just smoked deli.
You can
meats.
do that in Oregon now.
Oh, true. Dude.
Well, not
January 2nd,
not
January
technically.
2nd.
Yeah. So
probably.
do you think that if you didn't work in a environment that had music around all the time, that it would be the same thing?
You know what's funny? I have no idea.
That
My entire life, post high school, has been involved because I would say that college is your 9 to 5 when you're
Yeah.
if you're a full-time student, and I was a full-time student and I went to music school.
yeah.
So like I went to class every day and then learned how to mix and stuff, you know. And I was actually I went to school at Five Towns College in Long Island.
Shout out Five Towns. Come
That-
defend yourselves.
Shout out Machado. Come defend yourself. Fuck you. I love you, buddy. It's a music school, so I'm surrounded by. I learn how to mix and stuff. Nice.
That's what I think of Five Towns College.
Justin can say that because he came and visited me.
yeah.
Yep.
The school is
one of the
nice.
few friends.
Yeah.
It's small. Anyways, not to rip on it too much, but
I just ripped on it.
if you guys didn't hear it, he farted. I don't know if the mic picked it up.
he probably picked it up.
I hope it picked it up.
No, but it's music. I'm surrounded by it all the time, and like, you know, in my free time, I would just kind of sit in my dorm, smoke weed in the parking lot, or you know, just chill
You're telling me in the truck, right?
in the truck and like in the dub in my friends' cars. You know, we would just freaking whatever. It was really all there was to do at that school, which kind of sucked because trying to get like studio time with your friends if you wanted to was kind of a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they made it accessible, but it was so hard in such a tedious task to try and figure it out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that we ended up just doing either stuff on our own or whatever, you know. I was fortunate enough to like have my own equipment at the time. Like I just had a 4-channel interface, some mics, a couple mics here and there, you know.
Yeah.
I was able to do like demos and stuff in my room, but even still, like, you know, especially living in a dorm too, like
Yeah,
you can't
it's
make noise.
Live in a closet,
Another
kind
thing, you
of.
probably live in a closet, and it's like, I don't know, being surrounded by it, felt more compelled to just want to do other things, like going
Yeah.
out and adventuring. Like I'm a big outdoors guy,
Mm-hmm.
like hiking and stuff, you know.
Cat
And, like,
skills.
skills, you know. And I like it. I also like just exploring and stuff. There's a lot of like urban exploring stuff out
Yeah.
there, if you know anything about it, you know. But
Arthur Brisbane.
KCDC, wait, no,
That's no.
that's cock and balls.
That's something we can't talk about.
KPPC, Kings Park Psychiatric Center.
Ah.
But yeah, I feel like definitely having that, like,
Yeah.
surrounding your regular life, makes you feel less compelled to do it in your free time, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely feel that hard.
It's weird. I have a friend of mine. I might not drop his name. He might come on the podcast and talk about it.
Reveal him later.
Yeah. He has a job as a guitar teacher, over at a town near us. He, like on the flip side, like we were saying, like having a job that's surrounded around music and whatever. He, on the flip side, loves it. He loves the fact that he is doing it all the time. Now, he could easily get like a job that pays more a little bit or gives him more hours. Are we good? Okay.
No, I was just looking at the time.
He could easily get a job that pays him a bit more, gives him more hours, but he loves the fact that he, you know, like I said, he's a teacher, he has students, but when he's not teaching, he's in a room isolated playing guitar nonstop all the time. He's like, he has no excuse to procrastinate. And like he loves that. So
I wish I could get that
Yeah.
yeah, man. But that's like, I guess that's just him. Like there are a ton of people who, you know, like us. Like I said, if that was me trying to, you know, teach. First of all, I've had like 2 students on bass, and I'm a terrible teacher. I have no idea how to do it. But like
teaching lessons is weird.
yeah, it's weird, right? But point is though, is that if I was doing that all day, I'd be gassed. I wouldn't want to think about music after a day like that. But he loves it, so I guess it's different.
Yeah, it's
Different strokes for different folks. You are a poet, my man.
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a kind of I'm in the same boat as you almost. Like I've had jobs in other things, but like when I was working in restaurants or in like the wedding
and
serving,
stuff.
wedding
Yeah.
halls and stuff like that, I wasn't doing music at the time. Like I wasn't DJing or anything, so that was before. So I wouldn't really personally know if having a job outside of a music store would make me more inclined. I would think to say no, because I think every job that I've had has been very like taxing on me mentally and like taxing on me like physically, and just like make me tired, make me not want to do other things, make me want to just like sit there and like after work, like I just want to watch some Netflix, watch some Rick and Morty, whatever, smoke a bowl, like hang out with my friends after, maybe smoke a blunt with them, whatever the situation is. Lots of smoking, I think. Yeah. What about you, Justin?
What was the question again?
So does
Does your
Like-
regular job like have any some kind of effect on
yeah, because like I would assume that if life was perfect, would you want music to be your like full-time thing?
Yeah, man, I guess that's definitely the dream. That'd be definitely a lot more fun than what I do. But with that being said, like I have what makes my job kind of unique is like it's like a trained craft. It was definitely a lot harder to balance like doing music stuff when I was going to work and doing schooling for the work at the same time. Like that really drained me, man, because like is so much. I went to school for 5 years, dude, to do what I do now. And, it was definitely a lot harder then, but I like, music, I would love to do music too, but I do love my job. Like, I really fucking do. Like, it's just so unique, it's challenging,
You have a
you're
necessary
building.
vocation too.
Yeah, it's like, it's a little different in that way, because I would never want to lose that. I love what I do, man. But thank you. But I definitely feel a lot more confident now about being able, for those two passions to coincide. You know what I mean? Because now that I'm done with the schooling, it's just life from here on out, man. Like, I'm set. I could work when I desire, and if I want to take some time off of work to work on music, if I was financially comfortable at that time, that's something I could also do. And that's kind of like the beauty of like what I do. So we'll just have to see in the future, because like, I will never deny that, like, I'm very privileged and I'm very fortunate to be able to like have gotten the job that I did. I mean, no one got me through it. I got me through it, but to be able to get the opportunity to even have tried to, get in, the schooling and be able to do that, I'm very fortunate, and I'm very thankful for everything that, my organization has done to help me, get a living and be able to do that. Yeah. So
finding something that you enjoy doing.
For sure.
Arm, you got a little tattoo there. Is that
the
electrical outlet there?
My tattoo is Ready Kilowatt. He was like a advertising representative for the the power company of Virginia in the 1930s.
That's awesome.
And I'll show you guys some.
Noticed that.
I'll show you some commercials later. He's real cute. He would pop out of the outlet and be like, "Hey, you guys like electricity?" Because like at that time in Virginia, and like even the early 1900s, like fucking electricity was like this new, not like this new thing, but it was just like, hey, gas power is cool and all, but get some electricity up in this bitch. You can power so many more appliances, and there's so much more you could do with electricity as opposed to like gas appliances and shit like that. So yeah, he's pretty cool, man. But yeah, I have a lot of pride for what I do, man. But it would be very cool to, just start taking music a little more seriously and be able to like, not that the goal, I don't know how to put it. It's kind of weird. Not that the goal is to make money, but
be comfortable.
Right.
To be comfortable and be able to like
worry.
Have to make your living just through making music.
I feel like the goal
be
is,
fun.
Have it be fun, but also still be able to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Be comfortable in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of a big thing for me. It's like I don't want to like make a shit ton of money, or like, because at the end of the day, like, cliche, but money can't buy you happiness, like I just want to be able to like be comfortable with like by like doing like just my creative things, like doing something like this, doing like DJing, producing music, whatever it may be, like just be comfortable off of that and not have to worry, like not be stressed out about like, oh, like my car is gonna break down, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough money to like pay for a new car, or like am I gonna end up in debt like trying to get a new car and pay it off, like just not have to worry about that at all. I think that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. And when it comes to like working jobs, for stability's sake, if they don't have like anything to do with music, I feel like that does actually kind of help your inspiration as music. I was working at a deli for a little while. I won't name the deli.
Bologna Windmill.
Bologna Windmill.
Come defend yourself.
But after like a while of working at that job, it was near a very rich kind of town with a lot of like snobby people.
Yeah.
And that shit did not sit with me well. I hated the fact that I had to deal with those kinds of people, but they give me a lot of lyrical ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
Just kind of like sitting in the back, like I'm here on the grill, man, flipping your fucking egg sandwiches, like, and just like observing them, like how they're finicky and like have like, I don't know, like it just you just get to like watch people, and I've noticed it's kind of weird.
Sheeple.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking armies of mannequins, man. And it's a weird thing with me. I like to watch people, and I know that's gonna get me in a lot of fucking trouble one day. Like like, I know someone's gonna catch me looking at them and like try to fight me.
Joe likes to watch.
Yeah, if you see
About
Joe
why
in
you're
public,
staring.
he's probably stalking you.
No, like there would be days where if I'm bored, I'll get like a notebook and I'll get like my headphones and I'll go to like a park. I'll put my headphones in to make it seem like I'm listening to music, not paying attention, but I actually don't have any music playing, and I'll eavesdrop on people's conversations and like write down interesting things that I hear, and it's actually giving me like cool lyrical ideas. But
That's actually kind of cool because
Yeah.
it is you diving in to an aspect of someone else's life and trying to read it. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Without knowing them at all,
As
or like
exactly
having
and
any
kinda weird as it may
context.
seem on like
Voyeuristic.
up at
Surface
front,
level.
up front at surface level, but deeper thinking. That's pretty cool.
thanks, but yeah, and also I don't ever follow people. I just sit in one place and like whatever comes. Like, I'm not trying to like be weird or anything or invasive.
I
Yeah.
know what
But
you mean.
but since like the natural way and rhythm that just human beings talk to each other,
Yeah,
it's very fast, right? So I'm never gonna write down every single word I hear, but those gaps are really cool because
You ever?
Mhm.
if I listen to two people having a conversation, there's gaps, and I'm just writing down things that I think sound interesting or weird. 6 months later, I'll look back on it, forget the context of the situation, and then my mind will try to fill in the blanks, and then I'm inadvertently kind of creating this a story that never happened, kind of between two
Mhm.
people that technically never happened, at least the way my memory
Mhm.
recalls it. And it's really like it's an interesting little practice, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
You talked about the like you mentioned the natural rhythm of people speaking. Have you ever seen those videos that are like someone will like some drummer or even guitarist will like play along?
Oh,
it's like a scene from a show or a movie, like really, really well.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's cool to see how there's like that like natural like rhythm in like just like
Yeah.
music.
Rhythm is everywhere, dude.
Yeah, it's everywhere. My buddy Gabe, once we were talking
Music is
about about time signatures, and then he like brought up some like psycho time signature. It was like something stupid. It was like I don't know, it was probably like 3212, like some dumb like
that.
some bullshit. Like I don't remember the exact time signature, but he was like, and I was like, how do you count that? Okay, I thought he was like dicking me around. I thought he was, but I was like, all right, how do you count that? And he was like, I want my Chipotle. Give me my Chipotle. And that was some like bullshit. And I was like, you're lying. I think. I don't know. But yeah, later.
I don't
as
have the knowledge to call him on it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
later as I started learning about like just rhythm in general, like yeah, it's a real thing. And like you said, Justin, those videos of dudes taking scenes from movies and perfectly like rhythmically notating those on a kit. And even with pitch, like they'll like change like the inflections in people's voices. They'll like do it on a tom, but then hit a cymbal and like choke it or something like that. It's bizarre how it's everywhere. Someone can listen to this podcast, and if they're bored out of their mind, do the whole thing and play it on a drum kit.
This
Weird.
this
That's a
podcast,
challenge.
put this on when you go to sleep, because like we're gonna be talking for a long ass time. Dude, I that's what I kind of love about podcasts too. Is like I like noise when I sleep. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
I kind of like. It's kind of interesting how you could kind of just like drift off listening to like the rhythm of people speaking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I'm
So
the
yeah,
same
if
way.
you're getting ready to go to like this is like fucking 30 minutes in. Yeah, if you're getting ready to go to
30.
bed,
30. I
better
think
get
we're
some
like an
shut
hour and a
eye.
half in
Have we really
probably.
been talking
You-
for
you have
30
work in the
minutes?
morning.
It's been like an hour or two.
Yeah, I'm the same
But-
way.
So
Oh yeah, go ahead.
back to what you were just saying about like listening to people talk and stuff. That's one of the things that I love about New York City. Is there's
Yeah.
just so many people doing
kinds
so
of
many different
Strangers
things.
and freaks in New York City in
Exactly.
the best
It's
way,
like
man.
in the best possible way. Like it's really incredible. I remember one thing really stands out to me. It was such a beautiful, beautiful moment. I was on the train ride back. My uncle lives in Manhattan, and I go and visit him every once in a while. And I'm on the train ride back, and I'm just listening to this conversation of the people behind me. And it's just two strangers starting to like talking about their lives and stuff. And it's this guy talking about his job and then like what he really wants to do. And like, it's like kind of like he wanted to like be a life coach. And like, I know it's like thought of as like kind of a tacky thing, but he was a super genuine guy. Like wanted to inspire people to have like better lives. And I feel like that's something that we could probably all relate to as like musicians. Like you want to like inspire people, you know,
Yeah,
like
man.
at the deepest level of the music, like you want it to inspire people to want to make music. Like that's what I think it really is, the base for me personally, at least. And so I was listening to their whole conversation, and it got to my stop, and I had for that was Justin farting, in case you missed it. For a really long time, I was carrying around a little notepad because I would I started writing poetry like, I don't know, like a year or two ago, and I would just randomly, thoughts pop into my head. And so I wrote the guy a little note, because I think that some of the most beautiful connections that you have with people are connections where you know that you're never going to see that person again, or you might not ever see that person again, or talk
Like a
to them
Tinder
again.
hookup.
yeah, little, except more beautiful.
Impossible.
But so
Can you tell how No Nut November is going for me?
I'm going strong. Been
I
strong for a
forgot.
while. Been strong for a few months, actually.
Oh, I thought it was Nut
But,
November.
You missed the no. No, but so I took out my notepad and I wrote this guy a little note, something about like he was saying that he wanted to like inspire people, and it kind of like inspired me a little bit to like push myself more, to get myself to a point where I could eventually do something that like I want to do, like music, to inspire other people. And I was like, man, I was something along the lines of
You
like,
write him a little like note like a mom leaves in a lunchbox.
yeah, literally. I wrote like this is like, seems like what it's like you're meant to do. Like you're already inspiring people. Like you inspired me
He was
just
good.
now to like push myself more.
What a natural.
And I folded it up, and as I was walking out, I turned to him and I said, like, don't take this in like a creepy way, but I was listening to your guys' conversation. I want to give you this. And I gave it to him, and he just looked over at me, smiled, and he said, thank you. And then before he even read it, and then I walked off the train, and I have no idea where he is now, but it's just one of those like something that
wild
really
story, dude.
stands out to me in my
pretty cool.
memory of like that's like a really like important moment in my life. And like I don't know his name, I don't know where he's from, I don't know anything about him, and like that's some of the most beautiful memories I have, or of people that I just have no idea who they are, just like small interactions with strangers.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's a really cool story. It kind of reminds me. This is nothing really to do with like music or anything along those lines. I mean, kind of, but I remember someone said to me once, like, you ever take a picture with someone in a public place and it's just like randos, like NPCs in the background, and like you ever think that like in someone else's house somewhere in the world, like you are an NPC in someone
Yeah.
else's life.
I do
Everyone's the main character in their own story.
that. Yeah.
I'm still stuck at the hub world.
I
dude.
do. I'm on Tutorial Island, fucking around, like hitting the wrong buttons.
I'm in Spiral Mountain.
But yeah, I mean, it's just it's incredible. Like when I go to shows and festivals and stuff, and I see people taking pictures, I always like try to jump in the back of them.
Yeah,
And so like I wonder how many like Instagrams and like people's profile pictures I'm in
Oh,
that
for
I've
real?
just like
That you were
that
uninvited.
I've just like not invited, but like, and then sometimes when like people ask people to take a picture, I'm like, no, like you get in it now, like you're a part of this moment, like come on. And then they'll like get in it, and they'll like
Oh, just like a random
share
stranger?
yeah, like they'll
Oh,
like
word.
share each other's contacts then, and like send that person the picture, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I did that. Like,
Cool.
I have a mug that has a picture of my band when we went to Manhattan to do a little show, and I always like laugh when I look at it, because like there's us, and then there's a dude in the background. We're in like a subway station, and like I always like think to myself, that dude was probably, because he's on his phone, that dude was probably texting his girlfriend like, man, I'm so glad I'm not on like a mug in someone's house right now, because my buddy's girlfriend took that picture and put it on mugs for us. And he was like, that dude doesn't know he's on a fucking mug that I use like every freaking morning.
Dude, like,
Yeah.
I look at this man every morning. Like I have
That's
no
so
idea who he
weird,
is.
dude.
It's so,
It's
so
honestly
weird.
such a funny thing that it's just like, he doesn't know that I look at him every day.
This is. It's
I never thought of it
something-
like
yeah,
Oh man,
it's
I'm so glad I'm not on a.
it kind of that relates to like something that I like really truly believe that I started believing when I started going to festivals and like just like becoming like best friends with complete strangers, is that there's really no such thing as a stranger. It's just people that you're not friends with yet.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like you were a stranger to me, but like now I consider you a friend. You know, like you were.
Why don't you
Joe,
just
how
kiss
long
me,
have we known
dude?
each other for?
I was actually thinking about this like 10 minutes ago. I was in the
Yeah.
bathroom. Like I met you 7 days ago.
Yeah.
Or maybe 8. I don't know.
Eric,
Same thing
we're-
with Eric.
Eric-
No, I met you a long time ago, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
true.
for like an hour.
yeah, exactly, for an hour. But yeah, that's.
I
true.
mean, Eric, me and you, like, I was a complete stranger. You told me to come over to the house show, and ever since then, we've been like best friends. Like,
it's true.
it's crazy how people like.
Dude, I love that though about like, because I find that happens a lot in life. There's always like people definitely come and go, but it's so cool how quickly you can form a friendship, you know, and then like it feels like you've been friends for a lifetime. But you know, I think that I don't know about you guys. I think that has to go into like it was like a meant to be kind of thing sometimes.
Yeah, it's like a little fate.
I
Maybe.
feel like-
little fate.
Maybe,
kinda,
who
yeah,
knows?
Fate.
Yeah, I
Think
feel
about-
like,
sorry.
okay. No, go ahead, Justin. Yeah.
Think about all the events that had to occur for us to be in this room right now.
Right?
Yeah.
I know this is a little like DMT ish.
DMT?
Like I know this is a little like weed hits blunt thoughts.
Oh,
But, like,
all right.
Think about like
it's okay.
all our parents had to like fucking meet and then like
going back that
copulate. Yeah, it had to copulate, and then we had to go to all the different schools we went to and all the events that had to occur for us to be in this room right now.
Yeah.
It's honestly like crazy.
Dude, if you
Dope.
think about it, I had to, at some point, my parents had to have introduced me to Black Sabbath so that I would like Black Sabbath so that we would go and hang out at the Black Sabbath concert together. Because that was one of the first times we really hung out.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think that was like one of the very first times. And then,
Thanks, Ozzy.
thanks, Ozzy.
Shout
Yo,
out to
Ozzy, come and defend yourself.
Let's
on the
get
podcast.
Tony
Let's
Iommi
go.
on here.
Here's a little statistic for you guys that I think you'll like. I think everyone will like.
Fact check.
No, this is like actual like science website, sciencealert.com.
Science.com.
Science alert.
Like the probability of us existing, just us existing,
Oh, just
right,
reaching that
is
motherfucking egg.
1 in 10 to the 260.
160.
Read the number. Read the number, Joe.
It's 10 to the all right, 10 to the 2,685,000th%, I think, or whatever.
Thousandth power. So
Thousandth
that
power, yeah.
that
my
is
bad.
10 followed by 2,685,000 zeros, and that's just that you exist, let alone that you're like that we are here in this room together.
Man.
And I think like what you were saying before, Eric, I feel like a huge part of that has to like do with being open and to like new experiences, but
Mhm.
also being just really comfortable with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like every job I've ever had, I've always been like nervous of like fucking it up. So I always like
Same,
kind of had
dude.
like the whole like timid like rookie guy kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And like I kind of had that a little bit at Cock and Balls, but
we need a better name.
but like I stopped doing that like very recently, and then out of pure chance, like Jack was talking about this podcast, and I was just like, I said yes, and like, or like, you know, like, all right, I brought up the idea that I was like wanted to do something like that, and like, no, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
be open
it's-
with shit.
I mean, how long have I've been thinking about doing a podcast for like 2-3 years, and like the other night I was just like, yeah, let's just fucking make the Instagram and like let's post something, find a little royalty free art, make it the profile picture, post it, and like be like, hey guys, check it out. And then today I was like, I called Eric and I was like, fuck it, dude, let's do it today. You know, like let's just do it. And so
Yeah.
here we are, my friends.
What's this podcast about?
We really went off on a tangent.
Yeah,
there.
we derailed there. To close it up, I think, other than music, do you guys do anything else like artistically to express yourselves?
I dabble in what do you call that stuff with the computer?
Every
Video games?
Well, video games, yeah. A little less nowadays, but I go to the gym and shit, and then that's not like artistic, but
Do you even lift,
pastime.
bro? We get it. You lift.
Oh my god, it's a pastime, but we're talking about artistic shit. This graphic design. I fuck with graphic design and
Really?
shit like that.
You should do a little something
I taught
for the
myself.
podcast.
I taught myself Photoshop and shit like that.
Justin, I have some.
And then is it a penis?
software.
Oh, okay.
If it's not
software.
if it's not a penis, I don't want it.
I believe you would give him your hardware, Eric.
He's gonna want my software. Trust me.
Alright.
I do that. I like to
Fishy.
like doodle a lot of like dick jokes on like urinals at my job sites and stuff. I draw caricatures sometimes of I draw caricatures of people I don't like that I work with,
Oh hell yeah.
and then they see it and it's really funny. I do that, but I think music is like the biggest thing artistically. I like just playing guitar and chugging and noodling and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then I think that's like the extent of
About
like, yeah,
Eric.
artistically.
Me? I like to build things.
Yeah, Eric
I like to
likes to
build
build
things a
things.
lot.
Yeah, tinkering.
I
like to tinker.
Justin's a big tinkerer too. I can tell. I myself am one. I also like to draw. I don't do it enough though. I used to draw a lot,
Yeah,
but I like to cook.
dude.
Oh, yeah.
I love me some cooking.
dude.
Great.
I like just coming up with shit.
I don't care what you say, dude. Cooking is an art form.
Oh,
It is,
100%.
officially. It's funny that you mentioned because like I was gonna say, unless you, I'm sorry, you.
No,
had
dude,
did you have more?
That's all I got.
Oh,
man.
okay.
That's all you got.
I,
I'm pretty boring. Other than that,
I'm the worst type of person when it comes to like hobbies and stuff because I'll get way too into something and then like get really passionate about it, but then like drop
Yeah.
that shit,
Get
like,
burnt out.
fucking-
Yep.
Yeah, so like
Drop
I
it
used
like
to,
it's hot.
so like I used to do a ton of stuff. I mean, I used to cook, I still cook, but I used to take cooking incredibly seriously, and I always loved it. And I was actually gonna, before I became a techie, like in theater, I was gonna, my plan was to go to culinary school, and then video game design, and then I was telling Eric before, I've been doing carpentry stuff for a while, and I used to do graffiti art, and that was very short lived because I sucked. But I'm the type of horrible person that like gets who says like I'm gonna do something and I need to do it once and I like don't do it again. Even
well, at
though
least you
like,
tried.
Yeah.
yeah,
You gotta
but
think of it that way.
yeah, that's true. But all of those things that I did and never did again is something that I would like to actually do again. But I just like I don't know if it's the procrastination thing or it's a time thing. It's probably both. I definitely
Mhm.
don't have enough time to do the things I already like make a priority anyway.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's fun stuff.
Is that about it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Personally, I'm a little bit of a poet. Like to
You don't even know it.
no one even knows it. Yeah. I need to, that's something that I really like need to push myself to be more like open with people about, is like just because when I like write poetry, it's very like raw, like emotion, like what I'm feeling, like in the moment kind of stuff. And then I like afterwards I'm like, oh ew, like geez, like that's kind of rough. And then I'm like embarrassed to like show people, but like I feel like I need to just like fucking like post that shit and like just put it out there and then be done with it, you know?
I can
like,
see that being hard because it's so personal.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's a really
Hard to
tough
put yourself
thing
out
for
there
me is
like
like
that.
that's another really fucking rough thing about COVID, man, is I was taking this poetry class and I have this incredible teacher. His name, shout out to Jacob Camacho, one of the best poets I know, one of the best teachers I know. He like brought something out of me that I didn't even know existed. And it was probably like a 12-person class and within like the first like 2 or 3 classes, like he had us like sharing stuff about ourselves with each other that I never thought I would tell anyone. And that, like these, like I never thought I would hear a strange, like pretty much stranger, aka friend I'm not friends with yet, talk about. And it was just so incredible. And then, man, COVID hit and it just like took that away from me. So that was like a really, really rough thing. And then it kind of just like took away my like drive to like write and stuff. And so I haven't been writing nearly enough. I had another thing that I do is like I've been trying to write stories a little bit. I have like a couple times, usually like I don't really remember my dreams a lot, but I've had these 2 dreams that like were so vivid and like so like seeming so real, and I like when I woke up it was like continuing almost. Like I was just like keep snowballing with it, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I wrote like what? What?
You think it's late. For context, it's late right now, but
Are you thinking
I'm not
dick
laughing
jokes
at
right now?
What?
Are you thinking dick jokes? Because I'm saying bigger and bigger and bigger. Were you?
No,
Oh,
because
okay.
like it's mad late, and I'm like, because I'm not laughing at your situation at all,
Yeah.
but I'm just thinking of dumb shit because it's so late. And like when you were like, oh, when you were saying, oh, I was sharing shit I never thought I'd share. I just imagined you being like, hi, I'm Jake, and me and my cousin touch wieners. It's not that funny, but
How
I
did
just
you
thought,
know?
Huh?
How did you know?
Okay, so I'm sorry.
We
What?
didn't tell anyone.
Huh?
Me and my cousin, we didn't tell anyone about that. Never mind.
I was there.
That's a joke. That's a joke where me and my cousin, you were Joe at sitting on a bench watching us.
Yeah, and I wrote it down.
I guess that one flew over my head.
Yeah, I need to stop making jokes apparently. But okay, to finish, so I had this like crazy vivid dream, and I just kept writing this story, and I stopped, and I need to continue it. Definitely need to continue it and finish it, because it could literally be a fucking book. Like it's like crazy shit. Other than that though, just DJing, poems, writing. I really love writing. I write like songs, but don't do anything with them. Like I'll write it, and then I'll like later I'll be like, nah, fuck that, like
Yeah.
you were talking about earlier, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were saying that
you'll find every excuse to convince yourself that what you did is just gobshite.
Yeah,
just fucking throw in the garbage.
that's what I do with a lot of the songs that when I was producing a lot. Like I would like start a song and I'd listen to it like all night long and like have it over and over and over, adding stuff, like changing things, and then the next day I would be like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm
But
always like,
I guess that's just a very common thing for artists and musicians to just like
self-doubt.
self-doubt. Yeah, it's vicious. Self-doubt's a monster. Don't doubt yourselves, people.
For me, it's
You're
always
incredible.
like, I'm just like, my own writing, cringe, and then
Yeah.
fucking delete.
Yeah, literally. It's like, all right,
So it goes.
I'm never gonna look at that again. All right, well, that was an absolutely incredible conversation.
It's like therapy.
Weird thing.
Personally, if one person listens to this, that's cool. If no one gets this far, that's cool too. I'm so happy
Hey, you
that
know
we
what?
had this talk.
At least 4 people listen.
4
to
people listened to it, and it was beautiful.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
in my ass.
Yeah.
And my ass, dude. My
And-
ass said a lot tonight.
And my
dude.
cock and balls. It did. It had like 3 parts. I think
3 lines. Dude,
3 lines.
3 or 4 lines.
We should, if we get the audio clip of that, we should use it to
censor.
to censor. Oh, fuck! I said it.
And one final one to wrap it all up.
To wrap it all up.
Definitely. And probably next time or very soon we will have guests in here, and we will be talking about like indie music.
Our first guest couldn't make it tonight. They died.
They died.
They died. So
Put a really
That's-
sad song.
That's the sound
Here.
of things going over my head.
Yeah.
But, okay.
I didn't get that out.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Of course.
My amazing co-host over here. Thank you, Justin, for being a part of this. I thought that you might like bail out or something
Thank
at
you for
first.
gracing
I
us.
didn't think you were gonna be in it, and I'm extremely, very genuinely happy that you were.
And you're welcome anytime.
Eric, endless thanks to you for hosting.
I'm not your host. I'm just one of your first guests.
My
I'm the
endless.
behind guy.
Well, we're sitting here in the incredible Space Station Records.
It's true.
So thank you. And if you're still here right now, you are beautiful and I love you.
Sweet dreams. Good morning. Good evening.
That's me
good
kissing
night.
you on the cheek like your grandma.
Goodbye.
That's it, baby.
Spacebar, God damn it.
Wow.
How fucking long was that?
That
That was good.
That totally, overall, all the recording encompassed about 2 hours.
Oh
Went
my
on
God.
for 2 hours?
That is 2 hours of
You know what was nuts about that? That whole thing felt like.
Hi, welcome to the Cock and Ball Torture Podcast. How do you like your balls pulled?
I like the Wu-Tang way, the rusty nail on the
How do you
dresser.
squeeze your scrot?
You squeeze your
I like it
screw.
backwards.
Just your nuts on a fucking dresser.
Just your fucking nuts on a dresser. Bah!
I prefer ball and cock torture.
Just your nuts on a fucking dresser. That'd be a much different song.
I'ma sew your asshole shut and keep feeding you and feeding you.
We should just release just that. Only that. That's it.
That's the preview.
Punked. You're on Punked. We're not doing a podcast.